Welcome to Bloody Good Horror, covering the best and worst of the horror genre since Halloween 2007. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello everybody and welcome to episode 233 of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be discussing Insidious 2, The Return of Carl.
Carl.
3.
Carl's back, you guys.
Insidious 3.
Only he didn't bring his magic Yahtzee game, but we'll get to that in a little bit. I'm the editor-in-chief over at bloodygoodhorror.com. First up tonight, joining us, the most real Chicagoan on the show. Her name is Sophie.
I'm really glad that is stuck as my moniker. How's it going, y'all?
That's all I got for now until you do something else embarrassing. Next up on the show, speaking of embarrassing, he got a new computer, so maybe his mic won't cut out tonight. His name is Mark.
Fuck off.
Also, he makes our website, which is legit impressive.
I brought it into this world, and I can take it out of this world.
Next up on the show, he brought something into this world. A delightful daughter. His name is Joe.
Oh, I planted my seed and it has grown.
He also drinks.
I do that. I'll be doing that a lot tonight because I didn't see the movie.
I love the whole idea that Joe puts forth that his daughter's like a secret asshole. That she's like adorable to the world, and then when no one's around, she just fucks with him.
100%. She's taken to coming in the room at about 4 a.m. and just getting face to face with me until I wake up and just scares the living shit out of me.
I'm gonna kill you in your sleep.
You ever open your eyes in the middle of the night and saw a face right there?
I could kill you and nobody would know it was me, because I'm a baby.
Yup.
Yeah. Last up this week on the show, speaking of babies, he's got one that he carries around in a baby Bjorn, because what else would Scandinavian people do? Also, he lives in New York City, and he loves money, and his name is Schnars. I'm not even trying anymore.
I was gonna say, I don't think you practiced that before we started. I think that was off the top.
Listen,
right there.
I have not stopped since I got up this morning, so we're just barreling
That was
head on into this.
That was a very movieguide.org style introduction.
Upper male nudity, Scandinavian heritage, New York residents.
I might need to go with upper male nudity during the show because it is hot in my fucking apartment right now.
Hell of moral relativity from Mr. John Schnars.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Also, pretty good call for Eric not introducing Casey as he dropped off the call. So it was just like he disappeared into thin air.
Yeah. He'll have to let me know when he's back. On a scale of 1 to 10, Mark, how bro-y was that intro? Because that iTunes reviewer who called us bros has really gotten into my head.
Has he really?
Are we bros? I feel like maybe he just doesn't know us well enough.
I think that we're assholes. I think that's different.
Sure.
I mean, honestly, we talked about this. Like the most common review we get in iTunes is like, I listened to 5 episodes and I hated them. And then when I listened to the 6th episode, I was like, you know what? I can get on board with this. We're an acquired taste.
Sophie, are we bros? Tell me the truth. Don't give it to me raw here.
I mean, I don't think that you are. And also, I didn't have that problem. Like, I immediately really enjoyed, maybe that just means I hang out with assholes, but like, I immediately really enjoyed the podcast.
It may have just been the episode. Every once in a while, Schnars starts talking about basketball, and I'm like, dude, nobody wants to hear you talk about basketball.
I mean, people get on us.
His unquenchable thirst for penetration.
People get on us about saying like a lot and upspeak, and we just talk like people talk.
I spend, when we're doing the show, I spend about 75% of my brain power trying not to say the word like. I've actually gotten better at it, but it's why half the time I'm not listening to anybody.
I mean, I don't go to other podcast iTunes pages and review how heavily they breathe into the mic. So
yeah, that's true.
Guys, I can do that if you want.
Is that drunk Schnars laugh? Are you drunk, John?
Listen, I'm on my way.
Listen, this is how good I know you, John, that just my little giggle, I knew you were drinking.
Seriously, that is frightening.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
It's like the evil Schnars giggle. He's about to blow up the whole show, you guys. Just watch. Speaking of blowing things up, Joe, our Twitter got blown up today. What?
Speaking of getting blown.
What?
What
did you do, Joe?
It's appropriate.
Do you want, since you never told me, do you want to tell me what you did now? So I can rub your nose in it?
Wait, what did I do?
I don't think he did anything. I think this was like completely.
You think? Okay, Joe, why don't you tell us what happened?
Well, so we got a new follower today, and it pretty much just is the culmination of all my hard work over the past few years.
Making us the favorite horror site of porn stars across the world.
I would like to announce my retirement right now because there's really nowhere I can go. But this morning we got a notification that one Miss Jenna Jameson started following us on Twitter.
Drop the mic.
Yeah,
Boom.
He's out.
Like that's you pretty much got the queen now. Like we've had others, but this is the pinnacle. Like there's no place to go but down.
But I mean,
pun intended.
My point is, Joe, did you tweet at her or something? Because how did she find us?
Well, they just announced that she's going to be playing the lead in some show, which I don't have off the top of my head, but it's a horror themed show.
No shit.
So I think
it's a non-porn
well,
show.
we are like an authority.
Regular type show.
We are an authority as far as horror
she hasn't. I mean, she's been out of actual porn. Like I think she actually owns companies. Oh yeah. So
she hasn't done porn for a long time.
No.
All
so
right, I have not kept up on
Damn
her
it,
filmography, guys.
Schnoz.
Jesus.
She's starring in the indie drama Limelight, which I think has undertones of horror. So I'm assuming she probably like whoever her.
She Googled horror and Twitter and was like following everything.
Exactly. Yeah. So
she probably heard that you guys are a bunch of bros, and she was like, "That's my thing."
Yo, that's the demographic for this movie, bros.
Bro horror.
It's perfect.
Are you guys here for the gangbang? So yeah. So I'm pretty excited. I feel like we've made it. I did a stupid tweet this morning. She retweeted and even sent us one back. So I'm pretty much done, guys.
Joe put in his notice at work and left.
Yeah, like that's pretty much all I got.
Yeah.
It's been fun. I enjoyed.
Sorry, guys. I'm Jenna Jameson's new head of PR, so I'm out. Later.
So yeah, big day. 17-year-old me is high-fiving present-day me via time tubes.
It is pretty impressive, Joe. I got to tell you. Hey, Casey.
Hey.
Welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, remember me?
Yeah, we lost you there as we were trying to stick the landing, but you're back.
Yeah, I know. Let me just give this public service announcement. Don't buy Uverse.
Was that AT&T's thing?
Yes.
Yeah. No good.
I was actually listening to a podcast today where they said not brought to you by Uverse's shitty service. There was some other podcast I was listening to that was having Uverse troubles.
Weird.
About every 2 months, my router starts to reboot itself, and it'll do it a couple times a day.
Well, when I used to have an AT&T cell phone, it never worked. So I just, yeah.
I currently have an AT&T cell phone, and it really doesn't work.
Remember
that
my
well.
Zach Morris cell phone, Mark?
I do.
I had the world's largest cell phone.
Guys, I'm going to defend AT&T here for a second because my AT&T service is actually pretty legit.
You would
Okay.
defend them.
Deal with
I
it.
like the service when it's up. It's just that they can't get it hooked up to my house. This has been going on 7 years, so.
Yeah,
Casey,
we have Uverse here too, and it's pretty shoddy. Like it just randomly. We have the same thing. It'll just stop randomly.
Sophie, do you have an AT&T related story you can share just to
I
round us
don't.
out here?
I gotta
I'm
say,
Verizon. Sorry, guys.
for all the reasons that I have to want to burn Time Warner to the ground, the internet's not one of them because it actually works pretty well, surprisingly.
Yeah, ours is garbage.
Yeah. Casey,
had
all I really care about is what you think about Jenna Jameson following us on Twitter.
Oh, I'm quite excited. I mean,
Oh, are you?
Literally and physically.
Aroused.
I'm old enough, and so is she, that she was like a formative part of my,
right.
formative part of my growing up. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. During my teenage years, she was like, pretty much the pinnacle.
She showed you the ways of the world, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, right around the time that like she got popular on Howard Stern, like
Right.
little Joey started to learn the ways of his body.
I did learn. I did learn way more from Howard Stern than is probably healthy for an adolescent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
wasn't it last season she was on that celebrity marriage boot camp or something like that? Some kind of counseling show.
She on there? Or is she going to be on it?
That sounds like something Joe would know.
Yeah,
I think she was on. I think she was on last year because she told the whole story about her youth and whatnot and what all happened to her, and it was very sad.
Well,
I mean,
remember
of course
the
it is.
True Hollywood Story. She's a sweet kid.
Okay,
Good for her.
moving on. We were gonna review Maggie.
yet.
We were gonna review Maggie this week, but we had some complications, couldn't get the show together. We all did watch it though, and we'll talk about that a little later. But instead, I spent the nicest day in weeks in a theater reviewing Insidious 3. Which we'll also get to in a little bit. Joe, what are we drinking tonight while we're talking about Insidious 3?
Oh man, well I
Insidious.
I spent the nicest day we've had in weeks not in the theater, so not 100% sure what the movie's about.
Oh,
but
you didn't
I
go?
No, I didn't.
Awesome,
But
perfect.
I gathered some things, and you guys tell me if this fits.
Between
picked
drunk Schnars and Joe not seeing it, this is like a perfect storm for the show, guys. I'm pretty excited.
Get ready, because in about 20 minutes, it's going to be drunk Joe not seeing it. I picked a beer from the good folks at Greenport Brewing Company, which happens to be in Greenport, New York, out on Strong Island, as the kids call it.
Oh.
And this
No
is
one
their...
calls it that.
Everyone calls it that. This is their Other Side IPA, which you guys tell me. I assume that fits, right?
Actually,
Yep.
totally, yeah. But it's pretty good.
I figured. I saw the first one.
It's the same thing, yeah.
Yeah. So
Some
Other
more
Side
punching.
IPA is, as you might guessed it, in India Pale Ale. Greenport just puts out awesome beers. I think they actually started canning some of their stuff, and it's one of the breweries that I really miss now that I've moved to the Midwest, because the wife and I have been going out to their brewery since it first opened, pretty much right on the end of Long Island. I think they just expanded as well. So everything they put out is awesome. This one is more of like a West Coast IPA, so ton of hops. You really get sort of that bite, but like super clean. I actually like this style of beer for like the summer months because it's nice on like a hot summer day. Not too like overpowering where you feel like your mouth is just completely dried out after you have one of these. So you can have a few. It does come in at about 7.5% alcohol, so it's a bit on the higher side. But again, like super drinkable. You don't get any sort of like alcohol burn to it or anything. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about these guys. Just awesome stuff. If you get the chance to get out to the brewery, I definitely recommend it. They're actually in the old jail like holding cell out Riverhead, which is like out in Greenport, which is like the far end. So it's a pretty cool building too if you get a chance to visit it. And harborbrewing.com is their website, and there you go.
Joe,
Yes, sir.
I loved that.
Yeah, I'm a big
loved
fan.
Every second of that. Thank you. That's the beer recommendation with Joe. Something you get every week here on the site. Now let's take a quick break and review Insidious 3.
This is the whole issue.
Is society crumbling, Marty?
No, society is binding, right? It's filling in the cracks with concrete. Everything's filed or recorded, blogged, right? Chips in our kids' heads so they won't get lost. Society needs to crumble. We're all just too chicken shit to let it.
This is Jason Mewes, and you're listening to BloodyGoodHorror.com. Yes.
This is it, Senator. Your big breaking TV. From the prime time, bitch. Main feature.
And we're back. Insidious 3. The story,
It's a movie.
The story of how Lin Shaye became a spooky MMA fighter. It's inspirational, really. It's like this generation's Rocky. But we'll get to that in a minute. But first, John Schnars, please bring us the word of the day.
Ooh.
What do you got for us tonight, John?
Today's word is parallax.
Ooh.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Oh.
I love it. That's how I know I've succeeded. We're done.
Hello.
Turgidity.
I'm not gonna lie, I think you've done this one before.
Today's word is actually two messes.
Joe, I wasn't gonna say that, but it's definitely a possibility. It's
not like you keep a list of all these words to fucking check it against. Mr. Spreadsheet.
I'm sorry.
There's
Listen.
this thing online, John, called Google Docs. You can actually open an Excel document. I'll send you the one I keep for the beers. It's pretty easy.
John, in all jokingness, it is pretty ridiculous that you don't have a list. I'm just gonna say it.
Is it?
Yes.
All right.
You're fired.
Listen, it is
John,
what it is at this point.
Ask me what beer I picked for episode 149. Do it.
Go ahead,
I
Joe.
actually don't want to know. I do not want to know. But parallax is the effect whereby the position or direction of an object appears to differ when viewed from different positions. For example, through the viewfinder and the lens of a camera. Yeah, so the origin here is from the Greek parallaxis, which means
Greek.
yeah,
my
a
favorite.
change. It just means a change. And they are dating the word to the late 16th century, which is way older than I would have guessed. So
When I think of parallax, I think of like old Super Nintendo games where they had backgrounds on like different planes, so it gave this little like fake 3D effect.
Yeah, it's a very common thing that happens on the web now.
Or like
when you're-
Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, when you're on a website and you're scrolling and the background is kind of
Vice does that. I feel
moving
like.
in the background. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's parallax.
Join Nintendo Power today.
Oh, Nintendo Power, the best.
So,
John.
Insidious Chapter 3, shall we?
Tell me briefly what this dumb movie's about, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, so I did not see Insidious Chapter 2, but the good news is I don't think that matters.
Oh, by the way, did any of us have any idea this was a prequel? Because I didn't until the card came up and said 3 years prior to the blah 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 hauntings or
That was
whatever
when
it
I
was.
first started to remove my shoe, readying to throw it at
I
the
was
screen.
like, what? Because they set it
No.
up at the end of the last one like it was going to be like just serialized sequels.
No, but in the trailer it does say something like "go back to the beginning" or something along those lines. Like
It's the
Insidious
worst
Chapter
idea.
3. Yeah,
I never
sorry.
asked to go back to the beginning.
I don't want to
No,
go there.
I
You'll
didn't.
go, Mark.
Go ahead, John. Continue.
Yeah, so Insidious Chapter 3, this film, written and directed by Lee Wanell, he of Saw fame, and then a bunch of other things.
He's
fame.
he's in the room in Saw. He's the guy Mark hates in Saw.
Yeah,
Well, he's also in the Insidious movies.
Yes.
he is.
Yeah,
he's,
isn't he
he's
Specs?
Yeah, he's Specs.
Thanks,
So
Casey.
the surprising thing to me, and I thought he had directed other things. This is his first directing credit, at least according to.
You know, the directing's not really the problem.
Isn't it?
Okay. It's
Isn't
it starts with the writing though.
All right, we will. We'll come back to that. But yeah. So he wrote and directed. So there's really no problem with this movie that we can't blame on Lee Wanell. But again, let's come back to that. This is, as we just mentioned, a prequel to Insidious's Chapter 1 and 2, also known as the Insidii, I believe.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, it's basically.
Is that a thing a bro would say? Nice. I probably can't say that. Sorry.
So you
That's-
believe you're looking for dope.
That's swell, John. Thank you for that witticism.
I like how salty Eric is about this, bro.
I'm not even kidding. Like
it's-
I'm not even angry at the dude. He really got in my head. I've been thinking about it
I
fucking
know.
since that thing came in.
I mean,
It's
I
weird.
feel like
It's weird. I
you're-
couldn't tell you were thinking about it at
I
all.
was gonna say, I feel like you're dealing with it pretty well. So that's
Thanks. I mean, I am known for being pretty well adjusted, so
great job, bro.
Yeah.
See, I can call you bro because you're my literal
right,
bro.
literal bros.
It's a fair point. Okay, so this is a prequel. It is really the origin story of the Lin Shaye and Tucker and Specs relationship. At the end of the day, it's told though, or that story is sort of brought to life through the story of Quinn Brenner, who is a tween. I don't know, like maybe she's a teen. It's very
She
unclear.
seemed very young.
She's in high school, I believe. Does anyone want to guess her real age? Because I'm looking at it right now.
Nope.
16.
No, hold on. Now I can't do the math in my head. No, she's 19.
Really?
19.
35.
Well, she looked 12, so.
She does look 12. that is definitely true. So yeah, she is. So Quinn Brenner is just a young girl. She lives with her dad Sean, and then her brother Alex, and their mom. The mom has died, and so Quinn shows up at the Lin Shaye house. Lin Shaye's character's name is Elise Rainier or Rainier. I don't know. But she shows up and asks her to basically help her talk to her mom. She's been trying to contact her, like kind of talking to her, blah, blah, blah. Lin Shaye's like, oh no, I got out of this business. Like I don't do this communicating with the dead anymore, even though I'm really good at it. And I have a special room in my house dedicated just for that.
She's like, I'm never gonna do it again. Except for just this once for you.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, listen, it's a sad story. Like, the mom died, and so, very few moms are ever dying, and therefore Lin Shaye is never put in this position. That said, so she sort of helps her, but then there's a creepy incident where it's not the mom that she's talking to, and she can't talk to the mom. Quinn goes home, and it's made clear that in trying to communicate with her mom, she has brought another demon has come back or has attached itself to her, or not. I don't know, demon / dead person. Very unclear in the beginning.
Well, it's the demon from Insidious. It's the okay, you didn't see Insidious 2, John, so you don't know.
But
this.
I don't think it is.
It 100% is. Listen, because
right.
It's the one because they even talk about how it's the same one that attached to the little boy, and then when she saved, who is the husband from Insidious, and then when she saved him from this thing as a child, it then attached to her.
Wait.
In Insidious 2, you learn it's actually a dude dressed up as a lady.
You're talking. No,
I'm sorry. I'm talking about Lin Shaye.
Yeah, no, you're all right. Hold on.
Can
anyone? You're way down the road.
Can we draw a Venn diagram of this, please?
No. Okay. So hold on. Let's back up.
Sorry.
Quinn is being haunted by a guy who lived upstairs from her in the building. Now you're talking about the person who is haunting Lin Shaye, which is this woman in white. Woman in Black. Oh yeah, you're right. She is.
That's why I saw that movie.
So John, in Insidious 2, you literally find out that it was a dude who dresses
It looks
like
like
a
dude.
But which is why it's creepy in the first movie, because you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Wait, which was the one with Darth Maul?
That's the first one.
Yeah, that's the first.
Also, this one.
Also, spoiler alert, Darth Maul returns. We'll get to that too.
Well, great.
He's like, yo, I've just been hanging out in this desert since the end of that first Phantom Menace movie, and
they had to roll him out for something.
He's bored.
They put a lot of money into developing that character.
He spent so many hours training with that double-sided lightsaber, and he only gets to use it once.
All right, let's get back on track here. So just to bring things home, because there's not a lot of plot in this movie.
Are you kidding me?
This becomes every haunting movie ever made, I'm pretty sure, 10 minutes in, really from the beginning. Quinn is just being haunted, and no one can figure out what to do. Her dad, Dermot Mulroney, I should have mentioned, Dermot Mulroney is now
not to be confused with Dylan McDermott.
Yeah, we need to play the game Dermot Mulroney or Dylan McDermott, which was an SNL skit. Because it nailed it, because in this movie, I'm like, wait, which one is that?
Yeah, he's slumming real hard in this movie.
Is he slumming or is Insidious slumming? It's hard to tell at this point.
No. Everyone is slumming in this movie. All right.
I don't know that you could say that he's slumming it, because I don't know that he's actually talking to anybody he's working with in this movie.
No, agreed. Most of the scenes were shot with all of the actors in different.
I will say that his jaw is cut from steel.
No, that's totally true. He's a handsome man.
Yeah.
But the dad, he's a working class dad, and he just wants to do right by his daughter, and he can, and it's really sad. And she keeps getting haunted up in here, and finally Lin Shaye decides she's going to use her superpowers to pro wrestle some ghosts.
Now, meanwhile, they've also called in. So at some point in the movie, they call in the two dudes who she's working with in the original Insidious. They don't know each other, but they're basically internet huckster ghost hunter people.
Yeah,
that the son, the young son, is into.
It's Specs and Tucker. Meanwhile, the date of this movie, is 2004? It was unclear exactly what the date.
Well, did you catch some of the hilariously? Did you catch the hilariously semi-dated technology language?
I thought they did a really good job of that. Actually,
yeah, he's like, "Oh, what's it with your blogs and stuff?" And I'm like, "That's such a dated reference." And then it occurred to me, this movie's set in 2003.
Yeah, but what's funny is he doesn't know what a blog is, but they have streaming online video,
very high quality.
Predates YouTube. Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember Peanut Butter Jelly Time? It did not look that good.
No, we've talked about Peanut Butter Jelly Time, and I do remember it. So yeah, that's Tucker and Specs. They come back. Well, the funny part to me is all of the shit in this movie that ties it to the other Insidious movies really doesn't come into play until there's 20 minutes left in the movie.
Well, we'll talk about it, but there are all these totally unnecessary. I was talking about this with Mark, like callbacks to the first two Insidious movies. Like it's a prequel in the sense that it insists on setting up all these things that then happen in those movies that nobody ever cared about. Little dumb things that you just don't give a like, you know how in the first Insidious movie, Specs is the guy who writes down what she's saying. He's got the earphones or whatever.
Yeah,
so in this movie, she's like, well, what
that.
are you good at? And he goes, well, I write our blog. And she's like, okay, well, you write down what I say then. And you're like, well, thank God I know the fucking origin story of why he writes things down.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It really was... It was the worst thing.
Here's a pencil for you to use in the first movie.
Yeah, all I really want to know right now is what Sophie thinks of Insidious 3.
And it's
Of
a haunted
this movie?
pencil. He never had to sharpen it.
Yeah, Sophie, what do you think of this movie?
I was really not a fan. I have to be honest and say that I was not wild about the first two movies. I rewatched the first one and liked it a lot more the second time I watched it. But I overall was not a huge fan. But I felt like what you said, Eric, there were so many like references to the first and second movie that were so ham-fisted. It was like the director was sitting there saying, oh, do you see what I'm talking about? This happened in the first movie. Do you see it? Are you noticing it? And that was insulting to my intelligence as a viewer.
Or insulting
everyone-
to your intelligence are bad.
Sorry.
I was like, is everyone still there?
It's hard to figure out why this movie exists. That's all I can say. Insidious 2 was not good.
No.
Yeah.
It was not.
Casey, what'd you think?
Well, it had its moments. There was a couple creepy moments that popped up here and there. But
hey now.
But yeah, this was just not entertaining at all. I liked the first movie quite a bit. The second movie, I was fairly entertained, but wasn't, like nutty about it or anything. And this one, I didn't really have any interest because I didn't see why they needed to go back to the well again for one thing, especially a prequel. And just there was too many eye-rolling moments in here that made this at all good. And I didn't care about characters.
I'm gonna be honest. I think this movie. I might make the argument tonight that this movie has some legit camp value to it because it's fucking silly.
But at the same time, though, it doesn't count as camp because you still can't give a shit about the characters. I don't give a shit at all what happens to this family, except for I wanted to know where her brother disappeared to for, 3/4 of the movie.
Well, I don't think you have to care about characters for camp, but it definitely takes itself super seriously and is hilarious because of it.
I'm glad Casey mentioned the brother, though, because good fucking Christ, that kid just straight up where does he live? Does he live somewhere else for most of the movie?
It's
I turned to my wife in the middle of this movie and said, what the hell happened to her brother?
And her friends. They were in it really established in the beginning, and then they just disappeared.
He definitely does not seem to give a shit when the ghost is giving his sister an atomic backbreaker.
When the going gets tough, Maggie just fucking heads for the hills.
Yeah,
So,
she's edgy, though, so.
That's true. So bad?
Yeah, bad.
Mark.
Yeah, I'm here.
Do it.
This movie is frustrating. It's hard for me, we've been doing this for so long that this is another one of those series that we've reviewed all of them since they've been current movies. I remember thinking the first one was really scary and pretty interesting. I remember thinking the second one was bad, but it was setting up this kind of like really campy turn, and it ended in this cliffhanger that was supposed to lead into the third movie. And then they went and made it a fucking prequel. Like they took this, they laid up this amazing cliffhanger, not amazing, but like it was Lin Shaye reacting to something. And you're like, ooh, I can't wait to see what that is. And then they're like, psych, it's a prequel. So I can't watch this movie and divorce it from the whole series. And I just don't think that it holds up on its own. It's really frustrating. But I've been seeing a lot of positive feedback from people thinking that it was really scary and that it was funny and campy. And I just can't tell if they're if I've lost it or if they've lost it.
No, this is duty. This is duty pie.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like
a Boston cream pie, but instead of cream filling, it was just poop.
I think I agree that it descends into camp in the last act, which I think is great. But like, my hope for this movie was that they just go full on fucking bonkers with it, because like, who cares at this point? And it's played so straight and so poorly for the first like 2/3 of it. I just like, when it was done, I was just angry.
Yeah, but once we go around, we really got to talk about the WWE moves in this movie and just how amazing it is. And fucking,
I think we need to talk about adding Lin Shaye to the Candyman Brock Lesnar duel.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes. Like, I need to see behind the scenes thing of this movie so I can see all the stunt work they did with Lin Shaye, just teaching her how to do like Stone Cold Stunners and shit.
No, I'm pretty sure they got a skinny younger person to do these things with like.
But none of it was that. None of it
on.
was that impressive. That's what makes it funny. You can tell she just kind of like.
They got that girl from number 2 that had her voice.
Yeah. John.
Gotta about that.
John, what'd you think of this movie?
Yeah, I mean, I feel I haven't seen a lot of films. I feel like I've missed a bunch of stuff this year already, but this right now is in the very early running for easily the worst I've seen.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just so bad. The
second one at least still retained some of the charm of the original. I feel like I'm not saying it was good because it wasn't.
Okay,
but
so I really like the original. I think I was on record when we recorded as really enjoying it.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've only seen maybe the first 20 minutes of the second one, so I can't speak to it in any real way. But this was it was god awful. It's hard for me to even say what was the worst part. The writing was, I mean, the
worst part
dialogue,
is easy. It's that it exists.
Well, the dialogue is so stiff.
Yeah.
And the acting.
Well, it's Lin Shaye, dude. Listen, we went over this last time. I love Lin Shaye, the person. I want Lin Shaye to come over to my house every night and make me some hot cocoa and tell me bedtime stories.
No,
I don't want her in my movies.
Why wouldn't you make hot cocoa for Lin Shaye?
Yeah,
because she's like my like grandmother. That's who makes she makes
She's
me
a
hot
guest
cocoa.
in your house, Eric.
I'd love to see her and Jack A make like a TV show where they're like they're buddy cops. Like, Lin Shaye, Jack A.
Oh, I see. Right.
No, I mean, dude, Lin Shaye Kingpin is like all time great.
But, I mean, more so than any of these other movies, because in the first two Insidious movies, you have Rose Byrne, who is, as we've established before, a legit actress, and the other dude,
and a princess,
face guy, the guy with the face, he's fine. But you have other main characters. She is the main character in this movie, other than this teenage girl, who actually is probably the best actor in the movie, including Dermot McRooney, whatever.
There are no good actors in this movie.
Listen, I'm going on record. She was good.
No, I would actually argue on Eric's side, because Dermot Mulroney, good lord,
he's not acting.
I do not buy that dude as blue collar.
He literally is showing up, cashing paychecks, and just, where do you need me to stand? Okay, you want me to say this set of words? Like, no part of this made any sense. I
just picture him going from getting his manicure to like then going to the set and okay, put your flannel on, or we're gonna paint your stubble on now.
Hey, I'm electricianing.
Think
over
blue
here.
collar, yeah.
He's a legitimate actor, isn't he? Like,
was right. I mean,
he was in wolf fights.
Yeah, he was in The Grey.
I mean, for a while in the '90s, wasn't he like a romantic comedy dude? Yeah.
He's a hunky guy. My best friend's wedding. He was the main dude in that. I don't know.
Right.
He was in Zodiac.
Like if there was a lady in a movie that in the '90s that needed a banging, like they would bring him in. That's what all those movies were about.
I don't think that was really the plot of most of them.
I don't know if the producers were having that conversation before they
might want to cool it there, bro.
Are we gonna make another movie about a girl who just needs a good bang?
So you're confusing the Gemma Jameson conversation and the Dermot Mulroney conversation.
Right. It's an easy mistake to make. They look pretty similar.
We gotta get those two together.
No, but there was a whole like subgenre of those '90s movies where the story was like, oh, this woman and her life is really boring. Let's bring in this like sexy playboy guy who's gonna whisk her away, and that was that guy. He was that guy.
Can we get back to the movie?
A different reading of this. All right.
I've seen many a rom-com in my day, Schnars. I know these things. Right. Believe me.
I don't have.
This movie was terrible though. There was just no good part of it, and
someone killed themselves to get away from it outside of Schnars' apartment.
Did Insidious Chapter 2 have this many egregious jump scares?
Yes. Well, yeah,
Oh.
but not. This was worse. This was probably the worst in years.
They weren't even they were nonsensical. It literally would just be someone walking and then there would be a loud
noises.
Whoa.
Accurate.
So, all right. So let me paint you a picture, John, of my Insidious 3 presentation here. So,
All right, I'm gonna get my beer. Hold
it
on.
is the most beautiful day in weeks. It's like 75 degrees, sunny. I'm like, all right, whatever. It's fine. I was a little tired. I go to the theater. I get my coffee because I'm 90 years old. 2 middle-aged women come in and sit like 3 seats away from me in an empty theater. All right. They come in the middle of a trailer. They catch the last 10 seconds of the trailer, and as soon as it's over, she goes, "Ooh, that looks good. I want to see that." And I'm like, "Oh God, oh my God, no, this is." And I actually wasn't that worried at that point because I'm thinking this movie's probably going to be terrible. So before every jump scare, everything that was, their little telegraphs and include like before and after every jump scare, the one woman would say, "Oh my God." Oh my God, like in different tones. It meant different things, It was like, "Oh my God." They're stuffing their faces full of popcorn like there's no tomorrow. Like this is the last popcorn left on earth, and just crunching and when they got up,
delicious.
This was the part that none of that really bothered me because the movie was boring, so it was entertaining. But when they got up to leave, the entire floor, these were grown ass women. The entire floor was covered in popcorn. I got so angry, I almost said something to them.
Dude,
Who fucking does that? That's not like a 10-year-old.
that is legitimately the last thing I care about. When I'm
No,
looking
but I'm
for-
not talking about there was a couple of kernels. I mean, like half of their large popcorn was on the fucking ground because they couldn't stop stuffing their faces.
No,
for 3
maybe
seconds.
they kicked it. You don't. Come on,
John.
I mean, Eric, you could live in Chicago and be sitting next to an 8-year-old at a horror movie
It's
screening, like I was.
Oh my gosh.
Our
This was
theater-
rated PG-13 though, so come
Our
on.
theater was my theater was packed, and there was an 8-year-old and his father sitting next to me, and the father was like shifting around his icy the whole time, like mixing it up and making like a shuffling
you
noise.
got to get the flavor mixed in
The
there.
8-year-old was totally stone-faced, not scared. The dad was like shitting himself throughout the entire movie, and like the whole theater was freaking out. They loved it. They fucking clapped at the end. I was so confused.
It's been a while since I've had a good like I hate people theater experience, but this was definitely one of them. So
I mean, it's just. I just don't know what to do.
So I also was exhausted because my wife and I adopted a puppy on Saturday, and so I was afraid he was gonna piss all over the room Saturday night, so I slept for about an hour. So I go into the cities, I'm exhausted. I catch the first 5 minutes, and I fell asleep for maybe 10 minutes, and I woke up because Mark's asking about the jump scares. This jump scare was Lin Shaye getting scared by something in her basement. It was so loud, I fell asleep like an idiot with my cup of coffee in my hand, and I jumped a foot out of my chair and dumped coffee all over myself.
So you're no better than those popcorn ladies.
Yeah, there
I
you
was
go.
sleeping though. It was really because it got so quiet beforehand. I started really settling into the nap, and then it just scared the shit out of me.
Somewhere those popcorn ladies are recording a podcast being like, the dude I sat next to jumped like a baby and spilled coffee
Yeah.
everywhere.
Oh
No,
my
the-
God.
Mark, the bro they sat next to. Fucking
Yeah.
Look at this fucking
Some bro couldn't hold his coffee still.
All I can say is you may have, annoying popcorn ladies, but we have middle-aged ladies that brawl in Walmart here in Indiana.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, would Lin Shaye have taken him or what?
Listen, Lin
She
Shaye,
might have. She would have put up a good fight. It was pretty brutal.
Lin Shaye with a fistful of bees wins every match. But here's my overall thought about Insidious 3 after coming out of theater. This is why we can't have nice things. And by that I mean Insidious was a nice thing. That was a classy, scary-ass horror movie made by a guy. It's a movie you come out of and you go, you know what? The people who made this love horror movies. They get what was scary about those 70s ghost movies, and they just fucking nailed it. I mean, I get some people don't like the ending, but I just happen to disagree. But either way, I think you come out of it thinking that was like a well-made horror movie. So, of course, it makes a shitload of money, so they need a sequel. The sequel was dumb, but at least it was funny. It birthed Carl into the world. But this third movie is such an egregious cash grab, and they clearly put no money into it.
Yeah, it was like 10 mil budget.
It's so, like you could tell that they scraped the bottom of the barrel of like what's a generic ghost story that we have like floating around that we bought from some asshole for $2,000. Okay, stick Lin Shaye in this movie. All right, give her superpowers. Bam, you're done. Like, let this asshole who's never directed a movie direct it, because who cares? We're gonna make our money anyway. There's just everything about this feels so cynical, and I realize, you know, it's sort of duh, but it's so bad. It's worse than even a lot of. And in the summer, when we're also going to see Sinister 2, I can't help but just get really angry about this movie. It's just a fuck you to horror fans. It really is. So what we need to talk about.
But this movie did really well.
Of course it did, because assholes like shit like that. Like, this is just. So John, you're always talking about how to be scary, a modern ghost movie kind of needs to have this corporeal aspect to it where the ghost can actually hurt you, you know, because it's just kind of doors opening and stuff, or just it's not that scary anymore.
Well, when the ghost is just kind of like floating around you and
listen,
saying boo every once in a while, it's
I'm only half joking about this. I'm convinced that they listen to our show, because this movie takes that concept and stretches it out to the most absurd degree. This
Not only does the ghost attack people, it leaves a mess in the apartment everywhere it goes.
This ghost that is haunting this girl beats the living shit out of her, like not even in a ghost way, just in like in a domestic violence kind of way.
Ghost way.
It's just breaking her ribs and like slamming her on the ground, and like she's in traction at one point, and then it's beating the shit out of Lin Shaye, and then the whole arc of the movie is that Lin Shaye realizes, oh, sweet, it's like Nightmare on Elm Street 3. She's like, when I'm in Ghost World, I can beat the shit out of ghosts. And then she's doing these crazy stunts.
Wizard.
Yeah, she's doing crazy stunts where she's throwing the ghost. Like, at one point, she literally just talk to the hands a ghost, and he flies away. It's so ridiculous. But it's also
but I'm kind of okay with that.
It's kind of funny.
If they make the whole thing ridiculous, I'm okay with it. You know?
Yeah, the problem was it wasn't ridiculous enough.
It was real boring for the long stretches of it.
Yeah. It just seemed like the second one was just setting up this trajectory where it was just going to be like, okay, every Insidious movie from here on out, we're going to design a particular ghost, and then we're just going to build a movie around it, and it's going to be Lin Shaye and the ghost hunters, and it's going to be fun and ridiculous.
I think I would have rather seen that.
Well, and that's what we thought going into the last one, because they ended the last one with this cliffhanger, like, what is she reacting to? And now, are we going to have Insidious 4, but that's really Insidious 3? I still don't understand why you make a prequel. Like, I don't feel like people...
Maybe they plan to kind of do new stories, and maybe somebody balked. Maybe somebody at some suit at the studio said, you know what, you can't do that. You need to tie it into these characters
now that
more.
I think of it, like Paranormal Activity 3 was a prequel.
Yeah, but it was awesome.
Uh-huh.
I just think the reality is they don't... I mean, Eric kind of said it, but like they don't give a fuck. Like,
it's so cynical.
I mean... you know what really kills me about this?
I believe that Leigh Whannell wanted to make a good movie. I just don't think he was given the things to do that.
No, he wrote this though. Come on, what do you mean the things? Like what?
Yeah,
so this movie was basically his. They threw it at him so he could get training wheels to review a movie.
I mean,
he was like, "Yo, James Wan, I want to be a director like you. Can I review this movie?" And James Wan was all like, "I don't care. I'm making real movies now."
Yeah, no, what bothers me is the guy who produced this is the same guy who produced the previous Insidious movie. This guy, Jason Blum, we've talked about him a little bit. He did The Purge, he did The Conjuring, so I think he gets it. And what bugs me about this is the fact that, to your point, it's like way more cynical than some of those other things. Like, say what you will about The Conjuring, but
it's just so cheap.
It even had Oren Peli in it. Oren Peli, who did you probably already brought this up, but with all the paranormal activities and stuff, he's no stranger to this industry either. No.
Well, and that's the thing. Like this one felt like a real just fuck
cash
this.
grab.
Yeah, we don't really care. I mean, we do need to address the fact, and Mark kind of said this when he was talking about people liking it. This is sitting at 62% on Rotten Tomatoes just for top critics. Now, it only has 21 reviews, which is very small for a movie of like this wide a release. For example, Spy has 160 plus reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. So, there's
excellent movie, by the way. Just want to point that out.
Oh, okay, very good.
It was really good.
But like the fact that this is rated positively by 61%, like I don't even
It
know
was real
what
bad.
movie these
Yeah.
people are watching. It was
Well, I mean,
awful.
for the counterpoint, though, my daughter and her boyfriend, who are 15, went to this with us. They liked this when they came out of it. They said they enjoyed it a
Yeah,
lot.
that's fine. They're 15.
I could see. Well, yeah, but I'm saying I could see this movie playing well to a teenage crowd,
Sure.
a younger crowd. I think it kind of feels like they started out when they started out this series. Number one and number two, they were taking the serious horror fans, in mind and trying to build up a little world around this. And this time around, they just said, "Fuck it, we need money."
Yeah.
I mean,
Teenagers.
listen. You see, there's no way that James Wan ever intended to make a sequel to that movie. It's not a movie that's set up for a sequel. They did it because it was a surprise hit and made a shitload of money, and they made it for cheap.
Yeah, it's a good point too.
You know what's a worthwhile comparison, because it's a movie that I actually kind of look back on fondly, is the Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. I think that's what it was called, right? The one that was like the Hispanic,
The standalone.
kid.
Yeah.
Tejano one? You didn't
Right.
like that.
That was
None of us liked
that was Joe's
First of
favorite.
all, I'm pretty sure
I would watch that
I
over
said
this any day.
non-terrible things. Yeah, like here's the thing: that movie was cheap for sure and small in a lot of ways, but was so much better than that. Like that's what bugs me. And Casey, to your point, like I think you're right. I think in some ways maybe they're just like, oh, we'll kind of aim for a younger crowd. Like maybe that's what they're doing here. Like they're kind of over-indexing on this girl and
And look when it came out. I mean, it's summer vacation starting everywhere, so they got kids flocking that have nothing to do. So they're gonna, if
But it
they have
just
something like
feels
this to
so
flock
shitty.
to.
Wait,
like-
maybe the brother went on summer vacation.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go.
No, I mean like the whole all the relationships are so flat. Like that's
Yeah.
what bugs me about it.
I'm
It's
just
like,
gonna say it. I think this movie, at least the third act, would make a really good spooktacular.
Oh.
Yeah,
when Lin Shaye starts just body slamming ghosts.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's so funny. It's like I was laughing. It was that funny.
It was.
And
so
that's the
weird.
other thing that bugs me, and I know we've been hitting towards this and everything, but they decide to make a prequel, so they decide that Lin Shaye and these two wackadoos are going to be the continuity through all these movies that we're going to focus
I
on.
like the term wackadoos to describe
Why
it.
why can't it be well, we already brought this up, but because like it seemed like before they were going to build around certain ghosts. The ghost in the ghost world when she's walking through the further, shit's fascinating. I think it's great. Why do we want? Why don't
Yeah,
we have
but even
more of it?
they even kind of phoned in the further. Also,
Yeah.
she names it. It's like that was another dumb thing. They go out of their way to, like I said, to put in all these stupid Easter eggs for people who've seen the other movies. She's like, I call it the further, and you're
Right,
like,
and
oh,
there's no-
fuck
I call
up.
it the further.
Yeah,
There's
like
there's no genesis of that idea either. She just literally goes, "Well, I call it the further."
Right.
Yeah.
Really?
no, there's no reason. It just
The
that was a
moment that
snappy
the guy
move.
taking notes was like, "What do you call this other place?" I was verbally getting angry at the screen. 'Cause
I would
Yeah.
say
Really?
that these insidious ghosts live in the further.
Right.
Yeah. No, the absolute worst scene, maybe in the whole movie, and it ties into exactly what you're describing, was once they've kind of cleared the house and they have the whole scene where the three of them are walking out to the car and she's like, "Can you give me a ride home? Like we
Oh,
should go
God.
into business together." That shit was
You know what?
so
I
poorly
like the
done.
John.
name of your website.
John,
Yeah.
I'm not lying. That was maybe my favorite scene in the movie because it was kind of adorable. Because Lin Shaye's all like, "Oh, you guys, why don't you walk me to my car?"
You know what's funny though? That I think, John, I'm glad you brought that up because I think that's why I left the theater so mad because I felt like they were just fucking heckling me at the end
She's
of
like,
the
"Hey, maybe you could wear something nicer, like an Insidious one, like maybe a shirt and a tie."
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Oh
good.
Because
my
literally, we
God.
need to set up every single
I do
detail of
wanna
what happened in
know-
that movie.
I do want to know where Lee Wanell got that sick Casper varsity jacket though.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah, that
So
was
there-
actually. I did actually notice that. That is cool.
God.
So there was actually like scenes I enjoyed in this that I thought were legit creepy and whatnot.
Boo.
Yeah, I don't
I know.
believe you.
no,
Boo
I backed
this
Casey
man.
up. I've got some pros.
Sophie,
Casey,
go.
The whole thing with the casts on her,
Damn it,
on her
Mark.
legs, which they showed in the trailers when she busted off the cast and went walking across there. That shit made me cringe. They did that
Oh.
well. They had good sound and shit.
No, I agree.
yes,
that was
yes,
one of
yes.
the best scenes in the movie, and they showed it in the trailer. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
I don't remember seeing.
Yeah,
it really.
I'm not saying it to defend the movie. I'm just saying there's a couple things of merit in there.
Sophie,
There were-
go.
There were a couple things about the direction that I liked, but the problem is the only parts I liked were the parts that looked like a James Wan movie, which was just kind of sad because Lee Wanell should do his own things. But
And
There
it's
was
like
that one
every
shot-
movie we've seen for years since, the first Insidious is just looks
Right.
like a James Wan movie.
Right.
I'm not
But
gonna.
the shot
go
of the dad like walking down the hall, looking at the footsteps, where the camera like is in front of him and then pans over his head and then goes behind him.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
really cool, and there were other shots like that looked really cool, but they all looked like things that James Wan has already done in other movies.
Yeah, I mean, the ceiling scare I think was my favorite just because
Yeah.
of how hilariously telegraphed it was. I was like, I know I'm gonna jump at the end of this, so let's just get there.
You know what actually
Yeah.
scared the shit out of me, and I was ashamed.
Everything.
But it was well done. No, the father finally sees the guy, and he chases it, and it looks like he jumps out the window. He's like, "Oh, I jumped out the window." Or no, she says he jumped out the window. I don't remember. But then
The dad says it, and then
she looks out, and he's right there and jumps.
That was in the trailer, though.
What?
Yeah, it
See,
was in the trailer.
I'm not lying. I did not see a trailer for this movie,
The
which
trailer
explains.
spoiled all the good parts of this.
It literally had all
Yeah.
every good.
So, but
sequence.
even the good ones, the sound is just cranked up to such an absurd level now that it just makes you angry because you feel like they're fucking with you at some point. I don't know.
I love Eric complaining about the volume in movies. It's
No,
like one of my favorite recurring elements.
No, listen. This was real. This is not just
no,
me.
I agree with you that it was ridiculous, but I think we can all agree that they should really just call up Darren Lynn Bousman and see if he'll direct the final or at least the next Insidious, just to take that extra leap into just hysterically bad, like not just like kind of like bad that makes you angry, but like bad that makes you laugh out loud.
Yeah.
See, yeah, I agree. I agree with Sophie too, though. I think Lee Whannell, I think he needs to direct his own shit and not try and direct a James Wan movie. The dude's got some cred to him. He's written, half the Saw movies.
As a first time,
He wrote this movie though.
I know, but he wrote.
He shouldn't have directed a movie that James Wan has already directed 2 of them. He should have done his own.
Yeah, but sometimes though, if you've
somewhere
never directed that, I mean, that's how you start out as a director. The thing is, he shouldn't have directed this movie. Most people, the first thing you do, it's like you're imitating the people that you like and your influences, but usually they're not just kind of like effing around with their buddy's franchise. That's kind of part of, to me, the whole phoned in nature. Like, I really think they let him direct it because they were like, fuck it, this movie's going to make money no matter what we do. Who cares?
Right.
Yeah, and Juan didn't want to be there. But I mean, the guy, because he's written this Cooties that's coming out, that looks pretty good. He
Plus,
wrote the
James
first
Wan was doing
Insidious.
Furious 7, guys.
Yeah.
Well, no, sure. But
I mean, I think Whannell could do something decent, but I think it does, bring in that whole phoning it in aspect to this and everything too, because of what it was. But yeah, it just feels like he was trying too hard to stay into somebody else's constraints.
I don't think.
Listen, that was the least. That was the fucking least of this movie's problems.
James Wan was a producer on this. I was gonna say I didn't think he was even like involved,
Right.
but he was.
Real quick, we need to talk about the return of fucking Carl. Carl is a
Dude,
motherfucker. I
yeah,
want that t-shirt.
explain
Somebody
to
make
me
it. Okay.
what is Carl?
Insidious 2, which by the way is a movie that's about 2.5 hours long, or at least feels like it, and has more insane plot like shit than you could possibly imagine if you
Was
haven't
that the
seen
movie where the guy like is seen in old video footage of his own life when he was a kid or something?
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
There's some, like,
and
weird
they dubbed like some young chick's voice over Lin Shaye. Like
Okay,
fake
that
Lin
all
Shaye.
right. I was trying to straighten that out of my head. Good. It's Ghost
Okay,
Inception.
So 40, at least an hour or something into this movie, they introduce this character named Carl, who I seem to remember is like a friend of Lin Shaye's or something that knows spooky stuff. And they go to him specific, and his Carl shtick is that he
From
has
Ghost Fighting College. That's how she knows him.
Carl's shtick is that he can communicate with ghosts by like these spooky dice that he has, and he rolls them, and then they give him messages. But what's hilarious about Carl is that she shows up to his house, and he seems to be doing absolutely nothing but sitting in a chair and waiting for somebody to show up at his house to ask about spooky
Wait, so
stuff.
Carl was the guy that she had dinner with?
Yes. The guy with the
So he, and literally I think we spent half of the Insidious 2 show talking about this guy because he's so funny. He's just so ineffectual, and she just asked him to drop everything he's doing and come and help her out with the thing that might kill him, and he's like, yeah, okay, I don't know, sure.
Wasn't
And then he goes,
already by then anyways, though?
right, he was basically dead inside anyway. So literally, and again, it was an hour into the movie. Lin Shaye just decides she needs some guidance, so she has dinner with this guy, and she says Carl, and I like, because I didn't remember what he looked like, and I was, oh my god, guys, it's Carl, it's Carl. I leaned over to the ladies next to me, it's Carl, and
that's what caused them to spill
his
all
fucking motivational speech, though. This is incredible. His motivational speech is the crux of the entire plot arc of this movie, because
none of
without
the franchise would have happened.
Right, without him, like basically telling Lin Shaye that she had to use her power for good. None of these movies would happen. So it's all about Carl, you guys.
You could kick this cross-dressing ghost's ass, Lynn. Come on.
The Church of Carl. It's just so funny. Like, and his name's Carl. I don't know. I find that funny too.
I just feel like in a prequel, you can't set up that she's gonna fight all the ghosts if it didn't happen in the other two movies, because it just feels like we missed a lot.
Well, like, and did she forget all this ghost foo in between the movies?
Right.
She's out of practice.
Right.
That's why she called Carl.
Nah, she's just classing it up a little in the later movies. She doesn't want to get her hands dirty.
I really want to see
Well,
a
she
buddy
did get
action.
him put on a shirt and tie.
I want to see a buddy action movie with Lin Shaye and Danny Trejo based around people with limited mobility.
Yes.
Fighting ghosts.
Oh.
Fighting ghosts.
Yeah, like that's what's funny. She's doing these stunts, and it's just kind of her moving her arms around, and the ghosts are just flying away from her, and you're like, oh, Lin Shaye.
Machete 3 starring Lin Shaye.
Oh,
Make it
that's
happen.
Adorable. Like, Lin Shaye's kind of adorable, and it's sort of what makes this movie even funnier is she's just kind of like, I don't know. I can't.
Did you think it was super adorable every time she went to go to sleep and just like laid a sweater vest on top of herself under no covers and like snuggled into the bed?
That was super weird.
When they showed the picture of her husband wearing the sweater vest, I was like, I got it, thanks.
She likes
That made me
sweaters.
so
I get
angry.
it.
Oh, my husband was waiting for me when I got home.
She's a sweater person. Let's move on.
We haven't talked about Walt, who laid there in his bed the whole time, and every time she talked to him and said something about, oh, I know I gotta help the kids. I know I gotta help the kids. And Walt looked at her like, do whatever the fuck you want. Leave me out of it.
I posted there was a promo picture for this movie that was Lin Shaye doing the Home Alone aftershave face. So I posted that next to the Home Alone aftershave face on our Instagram, and someone commented, "You bastard! I'm afraid of what goes on in your mind. Fuck you." I can't tell what he's mad about.
I think he was channeling Carl there.
Every time I read it, I laugh out loud. It's so funny. He's so
Our
angry.
Instagram has been an endless source of entertainment.
Man, people are just fucking weird as shit, and I love it.
All right.
I love it.
Would you recommend this movie? If so, do you think they should see it in the theater, Mark?
Nah, no, never. Nope.
Nah. Sophie?
No, definitely not.
Casey?
I would pass.
John? Joe?
No, I'd probably pass too.
Yeah. I love that you didn't even joke. You just gave me a serious answer.
Well,
yeah, samesies here. This movie.
I tried to come up with something better, but I got a few in me.
Insidious 2 is everything that is wrong with Hollywood and horror movies, you guys. Mark, speaking of everything that's wrong, what is Movie Guide?
Movie Guide is our favorite website, and when a mainstream movie comes out, it tells us whether or not we should bring our impressionable children, and clearly the people of Chicago are not listening. I love the subtitle for this one. It's Insidious Chapter 3, Mommy's Not Coming Back. Because we left out the whole like...
Because you touch yourself at night?
Yeah, we left out the whole benevolent dead mother ghost situation going on.
We didn't watch didn't we watch another movie this year? With a benevolent dead mother ghost? The teenager movie there, the kids committing suicide.
Wait, you mean the
kid committed suicide by pool cover? Remember that? What movie was that?
Unfriended?
Unfriended. No.
What? I have no idea.
Right, continue, Mark.
Right.
Sorry.
Ouija.
Ouija, that's right. Yes.
Okay. So, Insidious Chapter 3 features strong New Age pagan worldview with strong occult spiritual ideas, including a psychic uses pagan and occult rituals and supposed power to triumph over demonic evil, but Christianity and the Bible are never mentioned for redemption, suggesting psychics have more power than God, but there's some light, moral, redempting...
Wait, can God beat up ghosts?
Yeah, I think so. Redemptive, promoting family and the power of love. 2 A words, 1 F word, 1 B word, and 1 reference to close friends being called lesbos in a derogatory fashion.
Is there an F word?
Yeah, there was an F word.
Yep.
I thought they kind of were like, live like embracing the lesbos thing. That was the
best friend.
Well, that's why Movie Guy would have a problem with it, John.
The best friend also disappeared when the going got.
Oh yeah.
That's why I said that earlier. Maggie just fucking head for the hills.
She only exists on Skype.
She's like, I heard you got ghosts now, so I'm not coming around.
Yeah.
Loser.
All right. Strong, scary violence, including girl being hit by a car, which we forgot to talk about, with blood gashing from her head. Scary demon with a haunting face throws teenage girl and wrecks her room. Numerous scenes show demons' large black feet from underneath the bed. Why do they have to be black? Intense
Wait,
demon.
did he say that?
No, I said that. Intense demon with red eyes screaming and taunting the family. Image of a dead woman who hung herself from a window. Demon with no eyes displayed violently attacking teenage girl. Girl possessed by demon hits her own father with a knife, bringing blood to his nose. No sex, no nudity, no alcohol use, no smoking. And a slightly dysfunctional family shows dad speaking to his children in a harsh tone from the pain caused by his wife's death.
Wow.
That's very specific.
Listen, that was Dermot Mulroney's best scene, I think. So.
Oh my God, I love it. That is,
Movie
yeah,
guide.
don't bring your children to this because he takes a stern tone with his children.
Because his fucking wife died, dude.
Yeah,
But
lay
also,
off-
the daughter makes a point of being like, I hate him. And not like, I love him, but I'm mad at him, but I hate him.
Yeah.
Which was a lot.
My dad's a handsome douche. Oh, sorry. I'm projecting.
Wait, can we talk for one hot second about the car accident scene? Because it was, in my mind, unfair. It was like a mean scene. Like it to the audience.
Oh, that's what put her in traction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
is
shit
like-
came out of
It was pretty rough.
nowhere.
Yeah, that is not a jump scare. That is like just straight up random fucking violence. That was just really
Oh, God.
set a really strange tone for the whole movie. Like that poor girl just got the living shit kicked out of her throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Well, the
And
funny
not-
thing
and-
is,
Yeah,
I did have-
it got to be oddly like excessive at some point.
it's like it's kind of funny, but also just a little bit sad, honestly.
Well, I had a legit dad moment there because she was standing in the street waving at the ghost down the road, and my first thought was, "Get out of the street, damn it! There's traffic." And sure enough,
No,
Why wave to the ghost?
it's true.
you could wave to the ghost from the sidewalk.
Yeah, that's
Is
right.
is that it, Mark?
That's it.
All right. Thank you for that.
Sure.
Insidious 3. Let's never speak of it again. Deal?
Deal.
Deal.
Except for when we review that other sequel this summer.
And when
That-
people send us questions about it next week.
Just kidding. All right, guys. Let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
Over here, I'm a boglin. Me and my buddies need a place to hide out. Come a little closer. Oh, did I scare you? Oh, I do that so well. If you take us home, we'll kiss your Aunt Martha. We'll eat your peas. And we hope you know lots of girls. Hey, the name's Boglins, each sold separately, and we're looking for good homes. Maybe yours.
Hi, this is Tom Savini, and you're listening to BloodyGoodHorror.com.
Send your emails to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or hit us up on Twitter at BGHorror with the hashtag AskBGH. And don't forget to pick up back episodes of the show at podcast.bloodygoodhorror.com.
And we are back. Back in the his house, Mark.
Yeah.
That's a 2003 reference, right? I'm
Sure.
Listen, I'm cosplaying Insidious 3 right now. I have fucking casts on and black eye, and it's pretty intricate, actually. All right, guys.
Ghost
First up,
fights.
First up, Stevie D. Saw on Twitter, y'all are checking out Maggie for the next podcast. I saw it recently and enjoyed it. I think it might be Arnold's best performance. Not his best movie, but his best performance in a movie. Thoughts? Thanks for pleasing my earballs, Stevie D. Yeah, we're going to do Maggie and get caught up in some other shit, but one word review for Maggie, I would say sad.
Yeah. I would agree.
It's relentlessly sad.
I thought it was pretty good though. I agree with the performance thing. I think I go back and forth on Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it was pretty underplayed and just like you said, sad. So I thought
he's fine. Like I still let's be honest. I would not call it acting that he's doing, But the bar for him is so low that just him not being Arnold, people are like, it's incredible. It's like he has real human emotions.
Real Oscar worthy.
Yeah. Like fucking an android is the most convincing role of his entire career. So.
You got bit by the zombies. Are you going to be okay? I'm so worried about you.
Like I just love that he's like kind of like hipster Arnold, which is really cool. Like he's wearing flannel, he's got a beard and stuff. It's kind of awesome.
Would you say that he's Mumble Arnold?
Yeah, he's marbled.
So like less intelligible than normal.
Sophie, have you seen Maggie?
I did. I watched it. I liked it. I agree with what you guys are saying. I feel like
it's cool. It's interesting.
Yeah, it was a really cool idea, and I feel like they did a good job. Arnold Schwarzenegger was a weird casting choice. He wasn't bad.
Yeah, but
he also wasn't great.
I kind of hope
the kind of movie that doesn't get made if Arnold doesn't sign on, or maybe it does, but for like literally.
But if you but once you hear he's interested, you're like, you could market the whole movie around that because it's so weird.
Yeah.
But you want me to believe that Arnold Schwarzenegger just lives in Missouri, in like rural Missouri?
That's what I always have trouble. Like I feel like
from Austria.
If he's married to a woman without an accent, I need some sort of explanation.
Well, because here's the thing, other accents you hear when you're going about the course of your daily business. Have you ever in America heard that accent from anyone else but him?
No.
It's not one you just run into at the corner store.
I mean, we just heard it from Joe, so I guess that kind of counts.
But like it would be physically impossible for him to even try and cover that up. Like, even in movies where someone with an accent, it's noticeable that they're trying to, pretend that they're like a Western American. Like, there's no way that he could possibly cover it. So they're just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
They could have done like Hercules in New York and just dubbed over his all of his lines.
Right.
I have to go tend to the cornfields. Yippee-ki-yay. I'm a farmer. I was born in the Midwest. I love it here. Me your hot dogs, Mr. Johnny Blue Jeans.
That just turned into like Christopher Walken a little bit.
Flashing them. Sorry.
Maggie's good. Maggie was good. Go see Maggie.
Michael, if you had to assign the following horror icons a beer style, which kind would it be? We're just gonna do one because he gave a list of like 10. Leatherface, Joe. What kind of beer would Leatherface drink?
Oh, I actually took notes for all of these.
Oh, well, go ahead then.
Oh, I did too.
Yeah, Casey did. I'll run through mine quickly. So Chucky, I picked a Guez. I don't know how to pronounce that properly, but it's actually a mix of young and old Lembecs, which I thought would go good.
Whoa, that's pretty smart.
Yep. Jason Voorhees, double IPA, because hops are in the same family as marijuana.
And as we know from Michael Bay's, right, he grows weed.
Yep. Freddy Krueger, a black IPA, because he's bitter and it's dark.
Holy shit. Joe, I'm not fucking with you right now. This is legit genius.
Michael Myers is obviously a pumpkin ale.
Yeah, of course. I didn't think of that.
Pinhead, I picked a Pilsner because the way he dresses, he's obviously German.
Oh my god.
Leatherface, I picked a lager because, that's the kind of beer you drink. And
when you live in that fucking country and you're like a redneck. Yeah, exactly.
And Brock Lesnar, I picked a Bach because obviously he would make a Bach Lesnar, which would...
No.
Joe,
Terrible.
Joe, no. That was fucking amazing.
See, I had them all filled out too, though. I had an amber ale for Chucky. I went more for color matching. I wasn't quite as good as Joe's, but I had amber ale for Chucky. I had an oatmeal stout for Jason Voorhees because it's thick and, stout.
Beefy. It's milky.
Freddy Krueger, there's a couple of those beers that are out there with chili peppers. Now that I saw what Joe was drinking earlier, he could do one of those ones with habaneros because he was on fire. Mike Myers, I did a German wit beer because it's white. It matches his mask. Pinhead, I did a double IPA because he's bitter. Leatherface,
you guys both got the bitter. That's interesting.
Leatherface, I did brown ale because it's brown and it matches his mask. And then Brock Lesnar, I just did barrel aged stout because he's big and stout.
You did brown ale because it's made out of skin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone needs to make beer labels for all of these beers.
Yeah. Oh my god, yes, yeah.
But this guy, I don't know what he actually does at O'Connor Brewing. I would love to try some of their beers. It looks like they're actually based out of Norfolk, Virginia. and I've got family down in Richmond, so next time we're down there, I'll definitely look these guys up.
All right. Thank you for that, both you guys. Incredible.
Yeah.
That was from Mike. He also says, thanks for the countless hours of entertainment. P.S. Do you guys want some beer?
I do.
Yes.
I don't know where you're going to send it to, Joe. That means you got to give me your address.
Well,
Go for a direct message.
We need
or
a
something.
P.O. box somewhere.
Yeah.
They still have those, right?
I'll let him. I'll send it to my office. I don't care if that gets blown up.
All right, guys. Flashing them TDs. You guys should review Witching and Bitching for the podcast. Unlike other suggestions, mine is good. And then he sends a link.
I think we've talked about that for a while.
I just want to feel like
Yes.
we missed the boat on. We kind of missed the Zitgeist on that one, I feel like.
I've had that on the list from the beginning of the year. I just wanted it out there.
I
'Cause I enjoyed it a
actually
lot.
I watched maybe like the first 30 minutes on. It's on Netflix now, I'm pretty sure, and
Yep.
I enjoyed it. I would support it on the.
It
Enjoyed
gets
it
very
enough to watch 20 minutes of it.
No,
Yeah.
well, it was one of those things where like I had 30 minutes and I was like, oh, I've been hearing a lot about this. Like I want to see what it's about. So
Play Hearthstone,
All I'll
watch
say
a
is
half
make
an
sure
hour
you
of a
watch the
movie.
rest.
yeah.
Make sure you watch the rest because it gets positively nutty by the end.
Like a fine brown ale. All right, guys.
Yes.
Next up, Emily. I want to drop a line now that I finally had a chance to see It Follows and listen to your review. On a scale of 1 to Joe, how drunk was Schnars on that episode? So many one-liners and burns. But listen, he does that little laugh though. He's like, heh, heh, heh. His like little evil Schnars laugh. Go back to that show and listen to it. It'll be drink every time Schnars evil laughs. On an unrelated note, the Chicago pizza hate has got to stop. 2 words. Pequod's Pizza. First of all, no fucking pizza place is called Pequod. So get the
Actually,
it's clown shit, bro.
I will vouch for Pequod's. Pequod's is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it's all right, but their thin crust is still garbage.
Pequod's
so-
is
Yeah.
like
Fuck
a
you.
place for like molecular gastronomy. That's what I think of. Anyway, it'll make you forget your East Coast sensibilities. As always, thanks for the great show. That is from Emily.
So that's not true.
Yeah, that's 100% wrong, Emily.
But I will say Pequod's is good, but I will maintain that it's still not pizza.
Yeah.
Also their logo
lasagna bread.
Is a whale with a thong on its head, which doesn't make any sense, but that's what their logo is.
Yeah. All right, guys. info@bloodygoodhorror.com is the email address if you want to hit us up. Please do. We're also on Twitter @BGHorror with the hashtag AskBGH. Mark.
Yes.
Yo, bro. What's up, bro? What's going on in Twitters, bro?
Oh, man, we got all sorts of
What's happening
Twitters.
on bro Twitter tonight?
Bro Twitter.
What are bros tweeting about?
First one is from our bro, the franchise 83. I've also been drinking. Just got back from a weekend in Vermont and could not get any heady topper. I bet that is scarier than the Poltergeist remake.
Did they make that there?
Yeah, it's pretty well known for Vermont. I have never actually had it, but I've heard wonderful things.
All right.
There you go. Next one, Chris Kassler. Have you guys seen the Cooties trailer?
No. What is Cooties? Somebody tell me.
Yes.
Cooties is Eric, I can't believe you haven't seen this because you were in this movie. Your doppelganger's in this movie.
Oh, which one?
Elijah Wood.
Creepy Elijah Wood.
Not Jessica Grayer.
It's specifically, though, Elijah Wood that looks like he has people tied up in his basement.
So think of it this way. It's like the faculty in reverse, and instead of aliens, it's zombies. So it's a bunch of teachers holding themselves up in a classroom while little zombie kids kill each other, and then they kill the little zombie kids.
Written by Lee Wanell, no less.
Huh.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
I like Cooties. That's a pretty sweet name for a horror movie.
It looks funny. It looks just ridiculous and over the top. And Eric, if you want to see that trailer, do you know where you can go to see it?
iTunes trailers,
Or-
Apple trailers, of course.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Is that even still a thing? Listen,
Good
talk about
plug,
2003
You are
references.
so bad at this. Can we
Yo, did
talk
you see
about
that sick new trailer in Apple trailers, Mark?
Speaking of old references, like when we used to talk about the website we have, you can see that trailer at bloodygoodhorror.com.
I think
We
it's
have
on
it posted.
joeblow.com.
Oh my god, you are the fucking the worst.
I'm hanging on 2003, bro. Ain't
So the
Cool
Coo-
News posted that right up.
Anyways, the Cooties trailer looks great. Moving on.
Cool.
Yeah. Next one, Alan Murch. Stephen Hawking's brain in Brock Lesnar's body versus Eric's brain in a silverback gorilla.
Stephen Hawking's... Dude, Stephen Hawking's brain in Brock Lesnar's body is pretty scary.
I can't even follow that.
But do you think?
Where
do you
does
think
Lin
if-
Shaye calculate into this? Is what I want to
But
know.
if Brock Lesnar had Stephen Hawking's brain, don't you think he would just choose to not fight anymore?
What about Carl's brain in Lin Shaye's body?
Oof.
That sounds terribly
Would she wear the
ineffectual.
bucket hat? Because I feel like she'd have to.
Does she have the sweater or not? Next one, Fozzie Bear. Which would Mark BGH prefer I sing at the wedding? Rush Rush by Paula Abdul or Summertime by Fantasia Barrino?
What'll it be, Mark? I was gonna say something from the soundtrack to the Burlesque movie.
Oh God. Too soon. Too soon. He just stopped being mad at me about that.
Never forget.
Oh Jesus. I'm gonna go with Paula Abdul on that.
Nice.
All right, next one. Chris Kassler, Stone Cold Steve Austin wearing a wallet chain or Mad Max wearing an affliction tee?
That's pretty good.
Oh, what the fuck?
I don't know what that means, but that's great.
Next one, also Chris Kassler, and I'm so glad that this happened. This is another comparison. Interrupting a plot synopsis or sex?
Well, it's important though that he tagged Eric in that.
Yeah.
Listen, I enjoy both of those things.
We know the answer.
I read this before the show, and it took you about 5 seconds to start interrupting the plot synopsis.
It's a different kind of enjoyment, but I derive from both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it early and often.
Right.
All right, next one. Ace A Masta. Katamari Democracy. Oh my God. Almost tripped.
I forgot about that. The way he just like under his breath, like Katamari Democracy. It was like a South Park character.
I don't remember how that came up.
I have no
I had to
idea
reread
either.
that tweet like 3 times. I was afraid I was going to
It was some other word, Joe, that kind of sounded like that you didn't know. That's what I don't remember what it was though.
I don't know how you pronounce it. It's like Damacy or Damacy
It's like
or
Damas.
something.
It's definitely not democracy.
Yeah, it's definitely not democracy. All right, next one. Hoop Crow Kruger with 13 Sins, Cheap Thrills, and Would You Rather. What do we call the new horror subgenre of fucked up contest movies?
Japanese game shows.
What was the one that we watched that was great? What was that?
That was Cheap Thrills.
Cheap Thrills.
It was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
My number 2 movie of 2014.
Guys, David Keckner tweeted at me for talking about Cheap Thrills on Twitter.
He's delightful.
It was amazing.
Nice.
Congrats. It's almost Jenna Jameson level.
Almost.
Agree to
I don't know.
disagree.
David Keckner was in Out Cold, and that's a pretty sweet fucking movie.
Janet Jameson has been in more than 200 films.
Yeah, she's quite prolific.
Oh, yeah.
In a way. All right.
She's the
next
Clint
one.
Howard of our generation.
Guys, the next one is from Flashing Them TDs, appropriately. Were you a fruit roll-up or Gushers kind of a kid?
My mom never
both.
bought us fun shit, so.
Oh, she must have just gave up by the time she got to me, because I definitely had all
Well,
the fun
you weighed 78 pounds, so she figured she had to put some weight on you.
That's true. They were trying to fatten me up for the roast. I would say Gushers.
Yeah.
Gushers
I
are
was
pretty good.
I
So
was a
we
little
never
late
had
to the game
Gushers.
for Gushers.
Gushers were legit.
Guys,
was
true
90s.
story. One of my professors in business school actually was the patent holder for Gushers.
Shut the fuck up. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
he invented
That
Gushers.
is awesome. Is that why you're such a business genius? Because you learned
No,
from
I
that guy?
mean, this dude was the coolest professor.
That's
I had.
awesome.
Like,
Take a fruit snack and put some weird juice in it.
no,
Listen, I'm going to raise you
guys-
one more, and I'm going to say the little Debbie Ninja Turtle pies that had green ooze in them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the shit.
Those, you guys think you're all hot shit with your fruit roll-ups and your Gushers, but when the 80s, I had microwave milkshakes.
What?
Wait, what?
Science that shit.
Why would you want a milkshake to be hot?
It's not hot because it comes solid and then you microwave it so it's soft, but you only do it for like 30 seconds. So then it was soft like a milkshake.
I don't believe. I think this is
Well,
something your mom lied to you about
We're
to
not
make you think
that
you
far
were
off
eating good
base yet. I
food.
do not remember this being a thing.
Okay, so
We
that
had
sounds like
microwave. We
Aquaman.
had microwave French fries too.
Is this some weird Midwestern thing like cornhole?
It could be.
Yeah, I was around in like, I feel like the 90s was the golden era of like fucked up weird candy. It was like when everyone was obsessed with ooze things. So
Because they were like,
every kind
"Hey,
of
we
candy-
have 400 tons of high, corn syrup. What are we gonna do with it?
Yeah.
How can we find the way to get this into your fat little kid?"
How about ooze in a tube? You don't even have to chew it.
Turns out, hide it inside of fruit snacks is the answer.
This will work for the listeners, but boom.
Casey,
All right, you know what? Stand by. We're gonna pause the show so I can click on this link because I don't believe you. From frozen food supply, Micro Magic chocolate milkshake for microwave. That's just fucking weird.
They have vanilla, chocolate, and
Gross.
strawberry.
Wait, so what was it? Like frozen and then you microwaved it and it got like softer?
Yeah, it was frozen solid, so.
That's
And you only microwave it for
weird.
45 seconds, that's from what that says, and it just
Why is
mushy.
the strawberry milkshake the same color as the chocolate
Yeah,
milkshake?
I was curious.
But
about
it's
the
got
same.
chunks.
It's got real specks in there. You can
It's
see
got
it.
strawberry dots in it.
Well, this guy is talking about buying one from the Piggly Wiggly, so obviously that's not something I would have had when I was a child.
Nah, that Piggly Wiggly's still around, isn't it?
Nowhere,
Yeah, I just
nowhere
went
near
to-
where
Not
I
on the
am.
East Coast.
I just went to one in Wisconsin like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
All right.
As a
about
fat kid in the 80s, that was
We got
good shit.
Price Chopper out here, John.
That your mom was like replacing milk with microwave
It's got milk in the name.
All right. Good talk, guys. Next one, Alan Murch. Did you hear about the death of the man who played the dancing boy from the first Insidious movie?
Oh God, what?
No.
Oh, now I'm creeped out.
Is this like
Wait, does he dance to the? No, it's not Tiptoe Through Tulips, right? That was just in the trailer. Or no, is that what he changes the record to or something? Dude, I'm not lying. I just got chills. Like that scene fucked me up.
That's where I'll be.
There are two things that terrify me in life. One is old-timey dancing children and tiptoe through the tulips. Like in a movie when a different record goes on, it's like, and you hear the needle scratch. I know it's cliche. It scares the shit out of me every time.
I wish we were a real business so that we could have like a conference line with hold music and make it tiptoe through the tulips. So when people call in,
I remember. Do you remember? Like we watched a show, and I just got really curious about that song, so I thought maybe they had done a creepier version of it, and then discovered no, that's just what the song is.
Nope, tiptoe.
And
through the
everybody in the
tulips is just
'70s
creepy.
apparently didn't realize that this maniac was like, what?
What was his name? by the
Tiny
way?
Tim.
Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim. He
Right.
wore adult diapers.
He had so many there were so
He was
many
fucking so
warning signs
weird.
with that guy.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that guy?
He's dead.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
he's definitely not
good.
alive.
Years ago.
Good. What's next, Mark?
Eric, I got you a GIF while I'm reading this next question.
Is it a Tiny Tim gift?
no.
I'm scared.
Next one is from 40 Ounce Heroes.
Oh my God! I'm not honestly. Oh, that I'm really not exaggerating. That's fucking sent chills down my spine. Oh,
So the next Insidious movie should just be him.
it's fucked up, man. That's
That
not.
would be scarier.
What
who
is
are
wrong with
listening-
people?
For those of you who are listening with their ears and not their eyes, it was a GIF of Tiny Tim strumming a little tiny ukulele.
I'm not taking the dogs out after this. They can pee in the bedroom. I don't care.
Well, then who let the dogs out, Eric? Next one.
Nobody,
is from
because I'm scared.
Next one's from 40 Ounce Heroes. Insidious Chapter 3. Why?
Oh God, who knows?
We don't know.
'Cause the
We
world-
have no idea.
Listen, this is a world that gave us Tiny Tim. Nothing. It's just you die. You're born and you die, and Tiny Tim happens in the middle.
You did. All right. Next one is from Blue State Pod. Any horror hound plans? Any recommendations for first timers?
Ooh.
Well, should we let the rabbit
Yeah.
out of that?
Drop the bomb.
Some of us will be at Horror on Weekend, including I think myself, Joe,
Yeah.
Casey, Mark, John. Are you going? I can't remember.
I am not going.
But you motherfucker.
And I think Cece. I think Cece's booked.
So the plan is now I think we're going to be hanging in Chicago on Friday night with Mark and Joe, and then Sophie, you should hang out.
I won't be in Chicago anymore then.
God damn it!
Where
Sorry,
are you
guys.
going?
Where are you going?
I'm starting grad school, so I'll be back in the Philadelphia area.
Oof. So
Boom.
sorry.
Lame.
Living it up.
Ugh. That's rough.
Enjoy the garbage smell. Anyway, so
Do you have a close relative to begin dating?
Hey, Joe. I will fight you.
by the way, Joe
on,
lived
Joe,
in
that's
fucking New Jersey, so let's not,
Well,
glass houses.
I also lived in Philadelphia for 3 years. So.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be living in Philadelphia. I'm going to be commuting to Philadelphia.
Ugh.
Oh, blow, Joe.
I know it's worse.
You're going to be putting effort into getting to that hellhole.
Although whatever, I was in New York City recently, and it literally smelled like human feces the entire time I was there.
Yeah, that's a part of the charm.
So okay, so
It's find that hard to believe.
anyway, we're gonna be in Chicago Friday night, and then driving out to, where is it? Indianapolis on Saturday. So we'll be there like Saturday during the day. We're hoping to get there on lunch and then party hard Saturday night. So be there.
I will be there, but all weekend on Friday too. So feel free to stop by and say hi.
Nice.
Yeah. Eric's 70 years old, so he's gonna wake up at 4:30 in the morning and make us leave then.
Let's
So
go,
we'll
you dicks. And then I'll be in bed by 10 o'clock at the convention.
Yeah, we'll probably be in Indianapolis in time for first breakfast. So. There you go. We're gonna be there.
As for
it's been,
recommendations,
honestly, since that many of us have been out there, it's probably 3-4 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, at least.
Yeah. As for the recommendations, though, make sure to stick around after the show floor closes. Go eat dinner, like when the convention floor closes. Go eat dinner, come back like an hour and a half later, and enjoy the parties all over the lobby. It's a good time.
Yeah, that's really the best part.
Yeah, that's usually what happens. Yeah.
Looking forward to.
Eric, can you believe it's been almost 8 years since we first laid eyes on America, the person?
Right.
Oh.
Since I DDT'd you on concrete when you were drunk.
Yep.
My finest moment.
I love Horror Hound. And
Wait, since John took a shot out of that woman's belt.
I thought you were gonna. No, that was me.
I don't remember that.
That was me.
Okay.
That happened too. I thought you were gonna say since John clogged the toilet in our hotel room.
We talked about that. What episode would that have been? Because we
20. I remember it was episode. It was either 21 or 22.
I don't think. No. Was America our first ever Horror Hound weekend though?
Yeah,
No.
I'm pretty sure.
No,
I
I think
it
it was
wasn't
yours.
yours. You went to one and met Casey, but the first one, all of us together, was that
Was
one.
that America? Interesting.
Remember
Okay,
we
it
was
yes,
like the
that is
American
episode.
Legion or something was doing a.
So that is episode 21. That's also the origin of Halloween people, because I was waiting in line to get John Landis's autograph, and some fine gentleman who looked like a World War II veteran stumbled by and was like, well, grumble, grumble, Halloween people, and then grumbled and walked away, and I was like, that's us.
Yeah. And then we drank with him later, so it was fun.
Yeah.
At least his wife, who's insane. Anyway, go back to listen to 21, and episode 21 I feel like is the genesis of a lot of memes on Bloody Good Horror throughout the years.
For sure. All right, we have two more. Dan Hunter 02, are you excited for the new pictures from Eli Roth? Knock Knock, The Green Inferno.
I'm interested in Green Inferno. I wouldn't say excited, but interested. It just got distribution. Somebody picked it up.
Who's in Knock Knock?
What?
I don't know.
Who's going to be in Knock Knock?
I'm unfamiliar.
It's going to be nothing but Tiny Tim going knock knock.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's a Keanu Reeves movie. I want to see it.
Oh, hello. Yeah, I'm in. I'm definitely in. He is also, so there's another movie. I was just looking at the calendar coming up for the next couple weeks. There's a movie called The Stranger that Eli Roth is producing or I don't know, maybe helping distribute. Unclear. That's getting a limited release. That looked interesting. So there's that too.
That was a good story.
Be happy to have Eli Roth back in the conversation, if only for novelty's sake. I suppose.
Oh my god, Mark, this picture of you with this lady.
It really is unbelievable.
So what we're looking at here is a lady in a just festooned in an American flag t-shirt. She has a bottle of vodka stuffed into her pantaloons, sticking out of it, and Mark is on his knees. She's trying to feed him vodka from this bottle. So what happened was we were all drinking, and at some point, a couple, actually it was really just her, right? She was at the VFW convention.
Yes.
And she was hammered and just came over and started getting real weird with everybody, and we just ran with it. And
there were a couple of them.
Mark, the good news is if you ever decide to run for president, you can use this picture to show how patriotic you are. You don't even have to wear a flag pin. You just wear this picture on your lapel.
I was thinking more a picture to show how far I've come as a person, but
you look so different.
I also love too that we all have a little bit of context for this, but Sophie just has no idea what she's looking at right now.
No, I'm looking at this picture right now and thinking that I need to find a way to hitchhike to Horror Hound.
I can't say that I will put on the same sort of performance.
It has not been that wild in a while. It's just old man Horror Hound for us now, but you do get those magical gems every once in a while. Now, it's a cycle though. There are new groups of cool people having fun at Horror Hound, and we're just standing around being like, guys, remember when we used to have so much fun at home?
Yeah, we're talking about the old days.
That's why we invite Andy.
Yeah, last time Andy was there, and
that's true.
Things got weird.
That is true.
Oh yeah, Andy will probably be there too, because doesn't he live right nearby?
Oh,
he's a few hours away. I think
he's about 2 hours away.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Mark. I don't know where Milwaukee is.
He doesn't live in Milwaukee anymore.
He's in
Indiana.
Or Indiana now.
I'm only vaguely aware of where that is. So
great. All right, last one is from Ghoulies 3, aka Ghoulies Go to College. Does Insidious go to college?
Ghoulies Go to College is great. The Ghoulies pop out of a toilet and they follow around like a sorority and like spy on them in the shower and stuff.
They play pranks.
Like nobody dies. It's not a horror movie. It's just Ghoulies walking around a college campus like looking at boobs the whole movie. It's kind of amazing.
It's like a goblin panty raid basically.
Oh my god.
Goblin panty raid.
That's
that was the name of my
fun
band
fact.
in college.
Yeah, that's what it's called in Germany.
Yeah, Joe, what is goblin?
It's a Japanese alternate title. It's a cool poster
Perfect.
for that one.
Yeah, and that's all we've got for Twitter. That's the whole lot of it.
All right, we're at BG Horror on Twitter. We're also on Instagram. You can get all the social links on our site. Mark, couple quick plugs.
Yeah, so we've got new reviews every day. Bloody Good Horror, killing it. We wanted to announce that since Sophie and Evan have been doing such a good job reviewing all of the old series, they will be posting dueling reviews of Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street on Tuesdays. So if you go to bloodygoodhorror.com on Tuesday, you will see these reviews in parallel, which
like
is
dueling
which is pretty
banjos, only with witty film criticism.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's like.
Exactly. There you go.
Mark, can you imagine a world without Tiny Tim? It would be such a better place.
It's this world.
I would actually really love, like, Casey.
It's this world.
I would really like some
brutal.
emails from our listeners who were like alive in that time period to really like describe and kind of help hit home the terror for me, because it's fucking crazy.
I can't. I'm sorry, Joe. I can't.
It's this one right now. All right, book club. CC's book club.
CC's book club. So if you go to our subreddit at reddit.com/r/BGH, CC's well on her way into her second book club.
What's it called?
We're doing The Ritual. A couple of us I know from the show are going to be joining, and
I bought the book and I'm already looking at it and being like, I can't read this.
the first sort of deadline is it's roughly it's the first quarter of the book, and we're I think it's 6/12 is like the date we're going to start discussing. So
cool.
Yeah.
Hot.
Mm-hmm.
It's hot.
It is. It's a little caliente.
It's hot and steamy.
Mm-hmm.
Other things, Bloody Good Horror. We have a bunch of awesome reviewers, including Sophie, who've been just cranking stuff out. I have a new game video. I played Darkman for Nintendo. John, have you ever seen that before? That shit is
I
wild.
saw it when you played it, and it looked interesting.
That could have warped a kid back in the 80s. I'm just gonna say.
It's definitely the game that you've played on the YouTubes that you were the nicest about.
The best is when you die, they show like a shot of like a little cross section of Darkman's eyes, and then a tear comes out. Because he's so sad that he couldn't exact revenge for being horribly burned.
It's also responsible for my favorite comment on any of our YouTube videos, which is from Aylin1477. This is hilarious. I love it. You die so angry.
I find that funny because that's me just kind of being mildly annoyed. You have no idea how angry I actually get at video games.
Yeah, I was gonna say watch that Monster Party game or the Fester's Quest one.
No, go back in time and watch me and Mark playing video games at like 12 and 16. You can really get an idea for it.
Speaking of, Eric and I have been tossing around the idea of either playing each other in Hearthstone and recording it, or me backseat driving Eric while he plays Hearthstone.
That would be funny.
Come on, you gotta let me in on this.
That would be wicked funny if I played people online and you were like my Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty good. Or just you and John, like Statler and Waldorf over my shoulder.
I want a lot of parts of this.
We're gonna do that. I gotta think about the setup of it, but I think it'll be fun. I started playing Hearthstone. It's pretty cool. It's fun. But I already know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna play until I start feeling dumb, like losing all the time, and then I'm gonna stop.
You win enough. Don't worry.
I don't like challenges, John. I play games on easy.
Alright, good.
Or if it's available, very easy.
Just do what I do with John. Every couple of months, you play each other, and then I let John win, and it helps him continue on to another day.
And then he feels good about himself.
Oh, is that how that works?
Boom. You
I
Bert.
see. Okay.
Shots fired.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
bloodygoodhorror.com. Check out all the reviews. Check out youtube.com/BGH video. We are, Mark, is it safe to say we're firing on all cylinders right now?
We are firing on most cylinders, at least.
I'm going to say all of them.
All right, great. All of them.
Bold statement.
Yeah.
Next week, Jurassic World.
Yay.
Because it's summer. And it's the only way I'm going to see this movie. So fuck it. We're going to see Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt, fucking Dino Raptors, you guys. Or no, Moto Raptors. That's what I meant to say.
Dino
Raptor Cycle. All right. Sophie, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Check out Sophie's work at bloodygoodhorror.com. That's going to do it for this week, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Adios.
Later.
Take it easy.
All right, goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.